All right, let's dive in. Today, we're digging into what could be the biggest AI drop of the year, the launch of GPT-5. OpenAI is calling it a massive leap forward. So we're going to break down what that actually means for you.
So let's just get straight to the heart of it. OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, gave us this really powerful way to think about it. He said, using GPT-5 is like having a PhD-level expert on call for pretty much anything. And look, that's not just a minor tweak. That's a whole different kind of AI. And to really get a feel for what a huge leap this is, think about it like this. If GPT-3 was kind of like a clever high school student, smart but sometimes gets things wrong, and GPT-4o was more like a dependable college student, well, GPT-5 is being presented as something else entirely. It's that true PhD expert with really deep, specialized knowledge. Okay, so a PhD in your pocket. What does that actually mean in the real world? Let's talk about what you can do when you have that kind of expertise just available.
Well, this whole expert on demand idea translates into some seriously powerful stuff. We're talking about being able to write a whole computer program from scratch just by describing it, or plan an entire party, invitations, supplies, the whole shebang, or something as crucial as understanding a complicated healthcare document so you can make better decisions. It's about giving everybody access to superpowers.
But the big question is, how does it pull all this off? We've talked about the what, so now let's get under the hood and look at the how, the core tech that's making this all possible.
Okay, so the secret sauce here is something called reasoning models. It's a really smart idea. The genius of it is you don't have to pick between a fast answer and a smart one anymore. When GPT-5 gets a complex question, it's designed to automatically just pause for a second. It thinks and dedicates just the right amount of brain power to give you a much better answer.
So here's how that whole thinking thing actually works. It's pretty straightforward, really. You ask it something tricky. Instead of just firing back the first response, it analyzes what you're asking. It takes that moment to reason through it, and then it gives you a much more complete and accurate answer. That little pause makes all the difference.
Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this new power look like when you put it to the test? OpenAI gave a few demos that really show how this thinking ability turns the AI into a real creative partner.
Check this out. They asked both models to write a eulogy for an older AI. GPT-4o's response was, fine, but it felt kind of generic, almost like a template. But GPT-5, it came back with writing that had a real rhythm, a real beat to it. It felt real, genuinely emotional. That's a massive difference in creative power.
All right, now for what was, for me, one of the biggest whoa moments of the whole thing. Making software on demand. This right here was the entire prompt. That's it, just one sentence in plain English, asking it to build a web app to help someone learn French. No code, no complicated instructions, just an idea.
And just minutes later, from that one sentence, GPT-5 built a whole app. A fully working app with flashcards, quizzes, a way to track your progress. It even made a custom mouse and cheese game and added voiceovers for pronunciation. It literally took an idea and turned it into a real complex piece of software. Incredible.
But it's not all about cool tech demos. The presentation really focused on the human side of all this and the kind of impact this technology can have on people's lives. This is where it gets really important.
To really understand what this means for people, just listen to Caroline Millen's story. She got a cancer diagnosis back in October and was handed this biopsy report that was just full of confusing medical terms. In that scary moment, she used ChatGPT, and in just seconds, it translated everything into words she could actually understand. And later, she used it to research her treatment options, helping her feel confident in the decisions she was making about her own health.
And she summed it up perfectly. She said the promise of AI in healthcare isn't just about some far-off cure. It's about creating smarter and more empowered patients. It's about giving people the ability to truly advocate for themselves. It's about agency. Now, obviously, with this kind of power comes a huge responsibility. So let's talk about how OpenAI is trying to build this future safely.
So they're rolling out this new idea called safe completion. The goal is to get past a simple yes or no when it comes to safety. So instead of just blocking a risky request, the model tries to explain why it's risky. and then actually guides you toward a safer, better way to do it. It's a much smarter way to be helpful and safe.
And look, a model this powerful has to be rock-solid reliable. There's this test called the Tower Square benchmark, which measures how well an AI can handle really complex, multi-step problems. Just a couple of months ago, the absolute best score any model had ever gotten was 49%. GPT-5? It scores a 97%. That's not just better, it's in a completely different league.
And the best part? This isn't some lab experiment. It's being rolled out to everyone right now. For developers, there's a new API with the main GPT-5 model, but also smaller, faster mini and nano versions. For huge projects, it can handle an enormous amount of text at once. Big companies like Amgen and BBVA are already using it, and it's even available to 2 million US federal employees. So, all of this, it really brings us to the big, final question. This launch isn't just about a new piece of tech. It's about putting a new level of capability, a new kind of expertise into the hands of every single person. The question we all have to ask ourselves now is, when everyone has a team of experts in their pocket, what are we going to create?